This is one of the most guarded commercial buildings on Earth. Here, on the second basement level, lie diamonds worth several $100 million. Imagine you're about to steal them. You're faced with 60 cameras around the building's perimeter which are monitored by the police around the clock. Access to the grounds is blocked by security. Inside the building, there is security staff and, of course, cameras. The entrance to the vault containing the diamonds is guarded by a 30-centimeter thick door. Inside the vault, there is a sophisticated alarm system, a light sensor, a motion sensor, a vibration sensor, and a thermal sensor. And even if you passed all of these and reached the diamonds, it's only the beginning. Now, without leaving any evidence, you need to discreetly leave the building, the city, and the country. But this is impossible, even theoretically. Yet 22 years ago, a 50-year-old Italian with accomplices did just that. He committed what many journalists would later call the heist of the century. He stole diamonds worth more than $100 million using a mop, a piece of styrofoam, and hairspray. In this video, I will narrate the details and mysteries of the largest diamond theft in history. How did the criminals manage to rob one of the world's most invulnerable vaults on one of the most secured streets in one of the safest cities on the planet? Who were these people, and what happened to them afterward? You are on a channel where interesting stories are not just told, but also explained. The heist occurred over 20 years ago. Yet even today, there are as many questions and mysteries about this crime as there are answers. One thing is certain, the robbers stole more diamonds than anyone in history. Even if the plot of the movie Ocean's 11 had played out in real life, it wouldn't be as impressive as the story of this heist. And we will dissect it in minute detail. So the action takes place in the small Belgian city of Antwerp. February 17th, 2003, a Monday. It is 7:30 in the morning. Detective Patrick Pace is preparing for work. At this moment, he receives a call from the local police station. The inspector informs him that a theft has occurred at the Antwerp Diamond Centre. Detective Pace and his partner arrive at the building half an hour later. Even without entering, they understand that something terrible has happened. Usually, at this time of day, it is empty. But now a large crowd has gathered outside the building. The crowd is agitated. Many are crying, some are in hysterics. The detective and his partner enter the building. At this moment, in the security company monitoring the vault security systems remotely, a call is received. The dispatcher picks up the phone. He's asked whether any security sensors at the Antwerp Diamond Centre vault had been triggered. The dispatcher replies that, according to his data, everything is in order. The security systems have not been breached, and the vault entrance is securely protected at this very moment. The caller to the security firm is Detective Patrick Pace, and at that very moment, when the dispatcher informs him that everything is under control, the detective stands in the middle of the ransacked vault, with diamonds and gold bars scattered across the floor. Upon thoroughly investigating the vault, the detectives realize they are dealing with the largest diamond heist in history. Valuables worth more than $100 million have been stolen. The thieves accomplished the impossible. This place, where the diamonds were stored, was considered impregnable. To comprehend the full scale of what has happened, let's rewind history a bit. The 16th century Antwerp. It was here that diamond traders began to polish and process diamonds. Initially, diamonds sourced from nature do not appear particularly attractive. The craftsmen from Antwerp, 500 years ago, started processing the stones using special tools with diamond dust and olive oil, transforming them into faceted diamonds. Today, we know them as symmetrical, shiny, and smooth. Since then, not New York, London, or Dubai, but Antwerp is the diamond capital of the world. About 80% of all uncut diamonds pass through this small Belgian city. Engaging in precious stones there is completely commonplace. In the 1990s, Antwerp even saw the emergence of the world's first police unit dedicated solely to investigating crimes related to gemstones, the so-called Diamond Squad. Mostly the detectives dealt with routine smuggling. For instance, a major event was the capture of a smuggler nicknamed Mr. 3,000 Carats. He was apprehended while transporting a 3,000-carat diamond inside his body. If you're not well versed in jewelry, you might be surprised to learn that 3,000 carats weigh over half a kilogram and are roughly the size of a tennis ball. But let's return to Antwerp. Essentially, everything related to stones is concentrated in the so-called Diamond District. It comprises 3 small streets lined with drab office buildings. The sole focus here is the buying, selling, and processing of diamonds. The streets are daily bustling with precious stone traders from all over the world. Indians, Jews, Chinese, and people from Africa. Many of them carry briefcases containing diamonds worth tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars. It never occurred to anyone to grab one of these briefcases and run. It's simply futile. Security measures in the Diamond District are unparalleled. They were like this even at the start of the 2000s. Entry into the district was restricted. There were security checkpoints allowing only a limited number of vetted vehicles. Otherwise, everyone walked on foot. On the 3 small streets, 60 cameras were installed, monitored by the police. If a person entered the district, every move was recorded on video. During working hours, the district was patrolled by uniformed police officers. It was in such a place that the Antwerp Diamond Centre stood. Anyone entering the building scanned their badge and was checked by security. This meant it was impossible to enter unnoticed. The building is naturally full of surveillance cameras. The vault is the main asset of the Diamond Centre. It is 2 floors underground. A massive iron door, 30 centimetres thick and weighing 3 tons, blocked the way into a small square room. In the room, there were a couple of hundred individual safe deposit boxes where the building's tenants stored valuables worth hundreds of millions of dollars. You could only access this room if you had a safe deposit box. The vault door was opened by guards in 2 stages. A 4-digit code and a physical key, to which only the security team had access, were required. Inside the vault itself, there were no surveillance cameras to maintain clients' privacy, but there were plenty of other security measures. A motion detector and a thermal detector monitored the area, detecting the slightest temperature changes in the vault. Simply put, no one could be there unnoticed. There was also a seismic detector that primarily picked up drill vibrations if someone attempted to break into the vault or any of the safes in this way. On the ceiling, there was a light detector that detected any light source at night when the building was empty. Additionally, near the door were special magnets that connected only when the door was closed. The contact between them was remotely monitored by a security company. If the contact between the magnets was disrupted outside of working hours, the company would immediately receive a signal, notify the police, and within minutes the vault would be filled with police officers. In short, robbing this place was impossible. However, on the 17th of February 2003, everything changed. Astonished detectives stood in the middle of an empty vault. After a thorough examination of the crime scene, the police had not a single lead. No one knew how the thieves got inside, no one knew how they left the building. It was the perfect crime, executed by a criminal genius. The story of the heist of the century starts several years prior, the year 2000. Leonardo Notarbartolo arrives in Antwerp. He's in his early 50s. He looks excellent, pleasant, sociable, a slightly stout Italian. He rents a small apartment in the centre of Antwerp, very modest, with a small bed and a tiny kitchen. Leonardo is from Turin, Italy, where he deals in jewellery. Our hero rents an office in the Antwerp Diamond Centre. This gives him the opportunity to document in detail all the security measures in the building. He also studies the people responsible for security closely. Short conversations, exchanging pleasantries, all to find out as many details as possible. But the main advantage Leonardo Notarbartolo gains as a tenant is access to the second underground floor. One of the safe deposit boxes in the vault belongs to him. For 2 years, he lives between Belgium and his native Italy, where his family resides. By then, he already has grandchildren. Returning to Italy, Leonardo Notarbartolo carefully analyzes the information with his accomplices. Every member of his team is a super professional in their field. One specializes in lockpicking, another masterfully forges keys, a third disables alarms, and so on. Apparently, the accomplices didn't just draft a robbery plan on paper, they built an actual replica of the Diamond Vault. There they honed each stage of conducting the operation. Although the police never managed to find this place, they are confident of its existence because otherwise executing the entire operation swiftly and without mistakes would have been impossible. The accomplices took more than 2 years in preparation. The operation was scheduled for the night from Saturday to Sunday, February 15th, 2003. At this time, a large international tennis tournament is taking place in Antwerp. The main prize is a trophy in the form of a racket and ball made of diamonds and precious metals. Also, it's the weekend right after Valentine's Day. In a word, the vault was expected to hold many diamonds, so the night of the robbery. It's just past midnight. The accomplices drive to the diamond district in a car. They stop on a nearby street, not far from the police post that blocks entry to the district area. As this street is not part of the diamond district, it's not monitored by cameras. Several people with bags walk past the nearby police department and proceed to the garage of the Antwerp Diamond Centre. No one exits the police department at this moment. Unlike the main entrance, the garage allowed access to the building, bypassing the barriers for which a tenant's personal pass was required. The criminals pick the lock and enter inside. Instead of using the elevator, the thieves descend the stairs to the miner's second floor, entering the foyer. Now before them is a 3-ton door. It blocks the entrance to the vault. The criminals need to break the door in complete darkness, as the light detector is located on the ceiling inside the vault. Hence, the exact replica of the premises was necessary. In such conditions, the team has no margin for error. The door has a combination lock. It consists of 4 digits. One of the accomplices enters the correct combination. Detectives still do not know exactly how Nota Bartolo and the team managed to discover the code. Most likely a few days before the robbery, during a regular visit to the vault, Leonardo carried a hidden camera to record the guards' actions. Now one more lock, which opens with a physical key. During numerous visits to the vault, Leonardo Nota Bartolo noted that before opening the doors, the guard always entered the utility room next to the vault. That's exactly where the thieves find the necessary key and unlock the doors. Of course, this was a stroke of luck, but in the event of the key's absence, the team included someone who was adept at picking locks. The final stage of security was 2 magnets. When the door opens, they separate, triggering the alarm. Therefore, the accomplices simply unscrew both magnets together without disturbing the magnetic field between them. The thieves move the magnets aside, open the door and enter the vault. At this moment, they hear the most pleasant sound in the world: silence. None of the alarm sensors activate. The first thing the tallest team member does is to tape over the ceiling light sensor with electrical tape. Only now can the accomplices turn on their flashlights. Until then, everything happened in total darkness. Wait, what about the other sensors? Why didn't they activate? This exact question may arise for the most attentive among you. And here the principle that everything genius is simple came into play. A couple of days before the heist, Leonardo Natabartova, during one of his visits to the vault, brought hairspray with him. When he was left alone there, he sprayed the heat and motion detectors with lacquer. This was supposed to block their operation for some time. The idea worked. The snag was that the accomplices didn't know how long the hairspray would last. The sensors could activate at any moment. Therefore, the thieves take a pre-prepared mop, attach a piece of foam to it, and place the construction in front of the heat and motion sensors. Now, they definitely won't activate. The rest is just technical. The thieves break into the safes, take out the contents, and pack them into bags. After several hours, having emptied more than half the safes, they finish the operation. Why did the thieves limit themselves to only half? Simply because they couldn't carry more. Don't forget they came here on foot and had to leave the same way. The thieves even left some of their tools at the crime scene. When you have the choice to take an extra piece of gold or a crowbar, come on, no one chooses the crowbar. Packing their bags, the accomplices are ready to leave. But before that, they need to solve one more problem. You do remember the round-the-clock surveillance cameras inside the Diamond Centre? During preparation, Natarbata discovered that no one monitored them online 24 hours a day. On weekends, the cameras simply recorded images, and the guards reviewed the footage on Monday. All the accomplices need to do is take the recordings. Having done this, the thieves exit the building the same way they came in. At this moment, the group splits. Some get into a car while the rest disperse. They agree to meet in Italy in a few days. Starting from the 17th of February, the year 2003, a little over a day after the heist, detectives realized they had hit a dead end. No leads, no traces, no witnesses. One thing was clear: only criminal geniuses could carry out such an operation. The people who robbed the Diamond Centre in Antwerp were members of the so-called Turin School, an organization comprising highly experienced thieves. They mostly specialized in stealing jewelry. This organization was somewhat like a fight club. The primary rule of the Turin School was to tell no one about the Turin School. Thieves from this organization employed extremely sophisticated methods of theft. Utilizing knowledge of engineering, physics, and other sciences, they meticulously calculated and planned all their operations. At the very moment when detectives realized that solving the crime would be nearly impossible, they received an unexpected call from a police station in a small settlement located 40 miles from Antwerp. This call changed everything. August Van Camp lived near Antwerp. He owned a small piece of forest near a busy highway. He walked there every day. The local police frequently received calls from Mr. Van Camp complaining about trash that appeared to have been thrown from cars passing along the highway. On this day, the 17th of February, Mr. Van Camp also discovered someone's trash in the forest. He immediately called the police. Accustomed to such calls, the officers listened to the old man. However, at the moment he mentioned that there was money and precious stones among the trash, the police went to the scene. The thieves assumed the place where they dumped the trash was completely safe, a secluded forest near the highway. Who would find them here? But this very small patch of forest, the only one for many miles in either direction, was privately owned by none other than Mr. Van Camp. Despite the thorough planning and detailed approach the Turin School was famous for, instead of destroying the trash, they simply discarded it. The police spent the next few days studying this trash. In addition to documents from the Antwerp Diamond Centre and currency from various countries, they found small green stones and food remnants with DNA traces of unidentified individuals. Among the trash was an interesting document. It bore the particulars of one of the companies that rented an office in the Diamond Centre. The head of this company was Leonardo Notarbartolo. Police discovered that the safe deposit box that belonged to Leonardo Notarbartolo had not been forced open during the robbery. How could a document from his company end up in the thieves' trash? Among the discarded items, police also found cassette boxes which presumably held CCTV footage. However, the boxes themselves were empty. Detectives logically assumed that the recordings might be somewhere among the trash nearby. After searching nearly 30 hectares of forest, the police found several cassettes. More than a dozen detectives gathered in a room. They inserted a cassette into the player and eagerly watched the screen. Now they were supposed to see the faces of the thieves. After a few moments, an intimate video began on the screen. It turned out that the cassettes found elsewhere in the forest were not the missing recordings from the boxes. It was ordinary home video discarded by other people. Nevertheless, the lead with the documents in the name of Leonardo Notarbartolo yielded its results. The police searched his empty office and then went to his apartment. There, among other things, they found small green stones on the carpet. Ultimately, thanks to evidence found in the trash, the police managed to apprehend 4 people involved in the crime, including Leonardo Notarbartolo himself. During interrogations, none of the detainees said a word. By court decision, Leonardo Notarbartolo was sentenced to 10 years in prison. His accomplices received lesser sentences. Leonardo was released early in 2009, 6 years after the robbery. At that time, he gave his only interview, in which he revealed a little about his biography. Leonardo Notarbartolo committed his first theft at the age of 6. His mother gave him money and sent him for milk. In the end, little Leonardo Leonardo brought back not only milk, but also more money. It turned out that during his visit, the milkman fell asleep and the boy took advantage of the situation to rob him. Despite punishment from his parents, Leonardo continued his criminal career. In elementary school, he stole money from teachers' bags. As a teenager, he switched to stealing cars. By the age of 30, Leonardo Notarbartolo began assembling a team of unique professionals, each of whom mastered specific skills, from lockpicking to alarm system hacking. The Antwerp Diamond Center heist became their masterpiece. Detective Patrick Praise still asks himself why these smart and talented people dedicated their entire lives to robbery, as each of them could have had an incredibly successful career doing something beneficial for society. And that is far from the only question that remains unanswered nearly 20 years after the robbery. It is unclear who was the client and who financed the operation. 2 years of preparation, the building of replicas, storage, payment for the accomplices' work, all of this required a significant amount of money. According to unconfirmed information, Leonardo Notarbartolo's brother was an important member of the Sicilian mafia. He allegedly initiated the entire operation, covered expenses, and eventually received the majority of the proceeds. However, this is just a hypothesis. It is also unclear where the other participants in the robbery are. DNA from other people was found on the evidence. Detectives believe that about 10 people took part in the operation. Only 4 were caught. And the main question that torments everyone is, where is the money? According to rough estimates, the thieves made off with diamonds and other valuables worth over $100 million. No one knows the exact amount, by the way. Many of those who lost their diamonds never reported it to the police. The fact is that most of the dealings with gemstones still occur in the shadows. Such is the world of diamonds. Tracing the path of specific stones and identifying them is impossible. Most likely, the stolen stones were sold, either by the robbers themselves or their clients. Ironically, the stolen diamonds could have returned to Antwerp and ended up on the market once again. Therefore, if any of you possess diamond jewelry, there is a possibility that these very stones were stolen in Antwerp on the 15th of February in the year 2003. Thank you for watching until the end.